Yeah. Cool. Look, riding dolo cause niggas I thought was riding with me really wasn't. They just needed me to drop them. Where they was going, shit hurt, left a scar, but fuck it, a nigga good. Don't ask me where niggas at, I don't know, they ain't call. I ain't worried where I'm going, everybody can't come. So I surround myself with energy, I knew for 10 bucks. I've been crossed by niggas I'm cool with, call them drunk. Me and Shorty break up and now they trying to fuck my bro. Niggas wrong, why is it? And you city they won't support what you doing. Me the stranger, they support what you doing. This shit be crazy, they play, they ain't really got no drive. Shit sad, niggas time, they ain't really got no job. So I stay dolo. Now I'm like, bro, on my system, my realest nigga, cause most of these niggas homo. With or without, damn all I got. Fuck the past, we here today. Shout out to Pops. Nigga, picture me rolling. You know I got bread, pockets on swollen. Fuck them bitches and them haters that's trolling. Keep it pushing, pussy, speed down the dead end, head eating, etc. Thought niggas loved me, really wasn't my bread trick. I switched lanes in that expedition, getting knocked out, no exhibition. Give a fuck where you from, you can't front niggas, listen to pun. Snap a finger and I'm getting it done. I'm from Bayview, not a prayer or a doctor can save you. Get sick from your throat to your neighbor, you almost didn't make it. Still repent, cause a nigga forsaken. You ain't the target till you actually make it. That's when you see the growth. I ain't the killer, but don't push me. Revenge ain't sweet when you sitting doing 30. Show the love now, don't wait till I'm dead and gone. Put my long nose out my long jaw, you niggas long gone. No worries. Stand up, the fuck down. No better, do better. For sure. I switch faces, guys that ain't call me Soul. In and out of prison, adolescence. My mom's missing, my heart hollow, dark thoughts, my eyes drop. I grip the pistol, finger itching, you hear the pop. I'm from a city where niggas die over 8 shit. Fuck bananas, I got niggas and they go 8 shit. 17 dead and gone over jealousy. Ain't no honor amongst those D's. Niggas Judas, oppressors hate the skin that I'm in. I love my melanin. On my word, the pistol, my pistol will make your melon missing. I put your face in the box like it was television. Better go play with your color, I ain't your kind, pussy. I put this dick in this 40, now you dry, pussy. No pressure, get it, I go better. Cook them with the lemon on the barrel, no pepper. When the shots fire the 40, you a rebel. Yeah. I'm on my way to the Passover, I could've bought some change. Instead I bought a Glip, bought the 9 with the aim. I'm in the hood, I was born and I still got the stain. Screaming 7 times, 7 homies in the rain. I know no bruh outside pushing cane. A nigga ain't able, nigga I ain't able. Wine sipping Glip packing, nigga I'm on baby. I be at the camp going hard like I was paid to. Bad bitch, ass thick, bitch I can't save you. Every block, Millie Rock, bitch you gon' tame you. I call in the favor, Uncle Head of the neighbors. Play too good, now niggas want creators. Lamb killing, bitch, fucking kid having nigga. 10 riding, 9 packing, sig ass nigga. Israelite, Trudite, real ass nigga. Crackers want my life, no fear ass nigga. Hit the corner too much, kill that nigga. 5 stacks, get back, you gon' pill that nigga. You can't kill me, they gon' feel that nigga. I had a son, if I die, steal me, nigga. Yeah. Dirty bird shit, nigga. Dirty, no worries. No worry at all. Let's get it. One stove, cheaters never prosper. Lotto for the Satan's work. Drugs being sold, chopping coke like the living worse. Swagger like haggler, block out of that hanger. Never seen us run around there like Count Dracula. Bro, I have to strip the fiends up with a spatula. Every single part's a 9 or better. I'm a savage, bro. OG a piece. I was bred from a different time. When your time's up, you get stretched like a lunch line. Crunch time for athletes in the booth. I'm a marathon. Show the long distance, my persistence like vagabond. Mirror say, gone in extra bag, but I pick it check. Baggy sweats and Gore-Tex, guts stuck, don't need a vest. Strong arm, 90 seconds gone, nigga, more or less. Found you in the corner, no need for a GPS or the flow stick. Grind sick and clutch like a stick shift. With my twist, like my wrist bliss when the light shifts. can't make you a star. Let me find out you moving key, nigga, and I'ma send you to God. I do this game like my name was Star. But I won't end up with 20 slugs in my dick in the jaw. And your niggas already know who we are. So when I step up in the club, take record to the exit the bar. I'm not trying to take over the game. I'm only here to feed niggas that feed me. Keep us alive. And they never bite the hand that feed them. Cause they know that she is strong and they know that the family will lead them. It's all about that green that I beat. Cause without the big faces, I can't build a man's to eat. Only chick that I'm loving is my delicate diva. Only chick that I'm trusting is as strong as the evil. Keep sleeping, that's how I'm gonna leave you. When he's trying to hit slugs on your brains, on your bills, I need me. I spent from the PJs, floated through the water. Grew up in the W, prisoner of the order. Grandma was my mother and the street became my father. Not that I didn't know the nigga never bought it. So caught up in the coke light, papa like the spell right. Watch my superhero start sucking on the glass pipe. Turn my mother out, no wonder nigga had no feelings. Watch my brother die, blame myself and I didn't kill him. Before mama died, taught me shit was the life. Just because that shit good, it don't mean this shit right. Niggas lie, bitches lie, never stay the same. Hold to the scripture, get a breath before you aim. I found it unsettling the way I was taught to settle things. Before the UPK in your house with the metal things. Started from the bottom, said I'd never be shit. On my way out of darkness, just to see this shit. Come on, the darkness with the light. Stop the war. Stop the war. Dirty bird shit. Ex-dirty bird shit, yeah. Not no more. Shalom. Shalom, Israel. We're Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge coming out of 1 West Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been given the truth that Blacks, Hispanics, Native American people are the true people that God chose as his people. Under Command General YAHANNA, we've been giving out that truth every Saturdays, going on, hitting the streets, the highways, and the byways. And we're going to continue to do so. Today is the law class. I'm Precinct Officer Kashaga War. We have Precinct Officer Yash in the building. We have Precinct Officer Kawokabo in the building and Precinct Officer Adanya in the building. Let's get a Lord of hand. Get Commanding General and the Generals in hand. All the captains, all the officers, all the troopers, all the sisters. Israel, we just getting back from the Lord's 54th Passover, which was glorious. We had a good time down in Raleigh. We had news feed about us being such terrorists and compared to the KKK. But everywhere, every store, every venue we went to, we had a good time and people loved us and took us in with open arms because we gave it how we supposed to give it, righteously. So don't let nobody lie to you and tell you that, oh, we're some hate group and this, that, and the third. We handle our business according to the Bible, and that's just that. But I was asked a precept, or I was asked a question over the course of the last 3 days, and a brother asked me, a young man asked me about, well, why do we celebrate the Passover? Which I gave him some scriptures about that. But then there was another question that came to me today about a video of Captain Tazariak speaking to a Hamite, and then when he found out he was a Hamite, that he no longer dealt with him. And I was explaining to the brother who we are and why, the difference between us and them. So we're going to give some laws. We're going to show the law in the Bible. We're going to show in the Bible. This is not Kashak's words. These are the law's words. We're going to talk about how who is Israel and who is not Israel, who was chosen and who was not chosen. So we're going to get it kicked off. We're going to start it in the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 1. Can you get that Bible show? But we're going to go on these scriptures. We're going to talk about all the children of Israel according to the law of the Bible.
You have that?
Yep.
Read.
Book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel.
Read it again from the top.
Now these are the names of the children of Israel.
This is in the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 1. Read it again.
Book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel.
Now these here is the name of the children of Israel. So you have a real distinct people, a specific set of people who are the children of Israel. They're not everybody. They're not the Hamites. They're not Moabites. They're not the Koreans and whoever else you think it is. It's not the Edomites. It's not our oppressor. They cannot be saved by the standards of the Bible. Not my word. Read on.
Which came into Egypt.
Which what?
Came into Egypt.
Go ahead.
Every man and his household came with Jacob.
Came with who?
Came with Jacob.
Came with who?
Came with Jacob.
Came with Jacob. Now this is the example, and this is the truth. This is the story of how you want to call it. This is the history of Israel and how we came into Egypt and where we were and who we were. Go to verse 2.
Okay. Verse 2. Reuben.
Who?
Reuben.
Reuben.
Simeon.
Who?
Simeon.
Say it again.
Simeon.
Go ahead.
Levi. And Judah.
And who?
And Judah.
And who?
And Judah.
Now let's do this again. In today's time, who you would call Reuben is the so-called Seminole Indians. That's who the tribe of Reuben is. Read it again.
Come. Reuben.
Okay.
Simeon.
Those are the so-called Dominicans. Go ahead.
Levi.
Levi is the so-called Haitians. Okay.
And Judah.
And who?
Judah.
Those are the so-called Negroes in America. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Issachar.
Issachar. Issachar is the so-called Mexicans. Go ahead.
Zebulun.
Zebulun is the tribe of Guatemala to Panamania. So those are those people. Go ahead.
And Benjamin.
And who?
Benjamin.
Benjamins are the West Indians. The West Indians. Go ahead.
Dan.
Tribe of Dan. The tribe of Dan got dispersed through the tribes due to them. The population of men became less and less men, and it was more women. So they got scattered throughout the tribes. And the tribe of Dan, it was a new tribe that took Dan's place. We're gonna read on and find out.
And Naphtali.
Who?
Naphtali.
Those are your Argentinians to Chile. Go ahead.
Gad.
Gad is the so-called native Indians.
And Asher.
And Asher are the Colombians to Uruguay. That's how you pronounce it, right? Uruguay.
Go
ahead.
And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob.
Came out of the what?
And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob.
Came out of the what?
The loins of Jacob.
Now this disputes anything that anybody say you the seed of this person. You're the seed of your father. All these came out the loins of Jacob. We understand and comprehend what the loins are. Go ahead.
Were 70 souls.
Go ahead.
And Joseph was in Egypt already.
Go ahead.
And Joseph died. And all his brethren. And all that generation.
Go ahead.
And the children of Israel were fruitful.
And the children, go ahead.
And increased abundantly. And multiplied.
Drop that. Go to Exodus 1 and 22. No, drop that. Go to Deuteronomy 27 and 1. Now, this just proves all of the tribes. This is just giving you a history of the tribes that went into Egypt. Those are the same tribes that came up out of Egypt. There were no Caucasians. There were no Edomites. There were no Moabites. There were none of any other tribes. It was us, the 12 tribes of Israel. We came out of Egypt. We went into Egypt and we came up out of Egypt due to Pharaoh not wanting us to go serve the Most High God. So that's what caused us to get out of Egypt. Those are the people of Israel. In today's time, these are your blacks, your Native Americans, and your so-called Indians. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1.
Go
And Moses with the elders of Israel.
And who?
With the elders of Israel.
Now, we just said who Israel was, right? These are the elders of Israel. Now, we talking about Moses with the elders of Israel. Go ahead.
Commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments.
Do what?
Keep all the commandments.
Do what?
Keep all the commandments.
To keep all the commandments. Now, the commandments, the law, statutes, and commandments are for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people, and them alone. They're not for everybody. That we get judged differently than the world because we are God's chosen people. Go ahead.
Which I command you this day.
Go ahead.
And it shall be on the day when ye shall pass over Jordan unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Right.
That thou shalt set thee up great stones and plaster them with plaster.
This is the building of us going into Israel. We're going to skip that. Go down to Deuteronomy 28 and 1.
Come.
28 and 1. Because blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people, we think we're not all of one people or all of one nation. We are. We have we try and save these other nations and think because we hear the words, what they say, what's the words they use in the Christian church? They can be saved. That Christ died for. What's the name of them people? He just told me. I have wrote it down in some other book. The other nations that God forgives everybody, and because we read the book of Job, chapter 3, verse 16, we think that we're talking about the entire world, or the Bible is talking about the entire world in its entirety. It's not. There's different worlds within the worlds. Who the Lord came back, who Christ, Yahweh Mashiach, came back to save was his people. Now, we're proving who his people are, which are the Israelites. Okay?
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently.
If thou shalt what?
If thou shalt hearken diligently.
If thou shalt what?
Hearken diligently.
Now, this is if we listen, if we hearken diligently, listen, pay attention, God.
Unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Unto who?
The voice of the Lord thy God.
Go ahead.
To observe.
To what?
To observe.
To what?
To observe.
Go ahead.
And to do.
And to what?
To do.
To do what?
All his commandments.
To do what?
To do all his commandments.
Now, the Lord gave us commandments. He told us what to do, how to live. A little bit in the book of Leviticus, it breaks down your food and how you're supposed to eat and what you're supposed to eat. The Bible is a full book of how we're supposed to live, how we're supposed to take care of one another, and how we're supposed to treat one another. The Bible is strictly about brotherhood and loving one another, but it also has everything in there as being brotherhood, as far as not sleeping with a brother wife, as far as not eating the things we're not supposed to eat, how to treat one another, how to gather together, how not to love your enemy. All this is in the Bible. And all this is in the book of Deuteronomy, or throughout the Bible. In the book of Deuteronomy, though, it gives you a breakdown, the difference between following and not following, what you will be giving if you follow and what you will be given if you don't follow. Okay?
To do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
The Lord didn't ask you to do anything. He told you to do. It's like your father telling you to take the trash out. You're going to do so. Go ahead.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
Will do what?
Set thee on high.
Will do what?
Set thee on high.
So, to the young man who was asking me this question, the Lord said he was going to set us on high. We didn't just ask for it. We ain't just it's not nothing we did. The Lord chose us. And because he chose us, he said he would set us on high. if we listen, if we follow, if we obey. But if we don't obey, we're gonna get to that part. But if we listen, he's gonna put us on high, which means rule the earth, which means rule over all of the earth and everyone in it. Go ahead.
Above all nations
Oh,
of the
wait,
earth.
wait, slow down, back it up. Say that part again.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
On high, go ahead.
Above all nations.
Above who?
All nations.
Above who?
Above all nations.
The Lord God said we will be above all nations. Because Shakawa did not say such things. I only read what the Bible told me is going to happen. What's going to happen? Because the Lord said we're going to be above all nations, but we have to first follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Why we are in the captivity and why we're in the hell that we're in, because we did not listen, because we did not obey, because we did not follow. And this is why we're in the hellholes that we are in now. Go ahead.
Above the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee.
All these what?
All these blessings shall come on thee.
All these what?
All these blessings shall come on thee.
The Lord said, all these blessings shall come upon thee. Go ahead.
Or overtake thee.
Or what?
Or overtake thee.
Man, or overtake you, man. You're going to be so blessed. It's going to be overwhelming. Overwhelmingly blessed. Go ahead.
If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you do what?
Hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
That means listen and obey. That means follow these camp leaders. Follow these teachers that teach us here in the I.S.U.P.K. If you follow, what will happen is you will be blessed. You will get the blessings that the Lord said he will hand down to us. But if you don't and you continue to live in the world, continue to think you can save your oppressor, the man that murdered your great-great-great-grandfather, the man that put your greatest grandfather on a boat and sailed them from one end to the other, and then enslaved their children and beat and raped the women. If you want to keep loving them, that's on you. Okay?
Blessed shalt thou be in the city.
Do what?
Blessed shalt thou be in the city.
So we will be blessed in the city. Okay?
And blessed shalt thou be in the field.
That means we're going to be blessed in the field. So the food and all the nutrients, all this stuff that we get from the earth, we'll be blessed in that. When you out here working, busting your tail, you will be blessed. You will be blessed from the work that you put in. Go ahead.
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body.
Blessed shall be the fruit of the body. Go ahead.
And the fruit of thy ground.
The fruit of thy ground. The fruit of thy body. Your children will be blessed. Your food, your crops will be blessed. But we don't have none of that. You know why we don't have none of that? Because we continue to follow behind our oppressor, wanting to be like them when we taught them everything. Good.
And the fruit of thy cattle.
Good. That's just your stock. Good.
The increase of thy kind.
The increase what?
The increase of thy kind.
The increase of your kind. Good.
And the flocks of thy sheep.
All your cattle, all your food, all your substance is going to grow. It's going to be increased if you follow. If you follow. Drop down to 15, Bankashaw.
Okay. Look at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
Good.
But it shall come to pass.
Good. But what?
It shall come to pass.
You know that but is a strong word. But it shall come to pass. Good.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Go back and read it again.
If thou wilt not hearken.
From the top.
But it shall come to pass.
This will happen. This will happen. It's happening now. You can look around. You can see it in your ghettos, in your slums. Why your rent is so high. Why you own your house but still paying taxes. Why you got the water bill so damn high. Why you got to pay the light bill is so high. Why you paying taxes on everything. Why do you go to a grocery store to go get your water when the water is free? It comes from the rain. You can collect it and you can clean it and you can drink it. Why are you paying astronomical prices for boots and sneakers? It's summertime. You about to go take your children summer shopping. You have to do it because you have to take care of your family. They're going to grow. Them kids is going to grow. But why are you being taxed on everything? Because the Lord said, read.
But it shall come to pass.
Go ahead.
If thou wilt not hearken.
If thou wilt not what?
Hearken.
Go ahead. Listen. Go ahead.
Unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Go ahead.
To observe.
To what?
To observe.
To what?
To observe.
Go ahead.
To do.
That's the key part right there. To do, not just talk it, but to observe and do. Pay attention to the men above you who teach you, and then do it. Live it. It's not complicated. It's not really hard. It becomes simpler if you just listen. Go ahead.
To do all his commandments
Go ahead.
and his statutes.
And what?
And his statutes.
Go ahead.
Which I command thee this day.
The Lord command you this day. Then, now we're in the year 2023. He's still commanding us. Under Commander General YAHANNA, we are following that. We are following that now. But if you're not in truth, if you're not a part of one body, which is one West, then you're not following the truth, because everybody want to do what they want to do and live how they want to live and make the decisions when you can't make the decisions for the past 5 to 10, 20 or so years to just do one thing right. That's follow the Bible. You rather go in a Christian church and follow that damn heathen that's up there teaching you to drink goat's blood, to do all types of obscene things. Come into church, put your wife naked in a bucket and do that thing. Your wife is showing her body to the congregation. When that's an abomination, when that's wrong in the Bible. You going up to these Muslim mosques, banging your head 30 times a damn day, and that's nowhere in the Bible. Nowhere. But you rather serve these other gods. You rather serve man. You rather question God and love the creation instead of loving the creator and question the creation. Read.
To do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Good.
That all these curses shall come upon thee.
All these what?
All these curses shall come upon thee.
Say that part again.
That all these curses shall come upon thee.
Now, these curses, this is what we're living right now. And the year 2023, while your children can't go outside without possibly getting shot by a stray bullet, is because we stopped following the Lord's statute commandments. Because we're cursed by the Lord thy God. Because we don't hearken. Because we didn't hearken. And because we didn't listen, guess what? Your auntie's a crackhead. Your mama's a crackhead. Your daddy's a crackhead. Your daddy's a dope fiend. Your daughter's a horse. They out there selling a box right now. This is the things we suffer. Somebody in your family right now is sniffing and shooting fentanyl. Right now. This is what happens because we didn't want to hearken to the Lord. And guess what? Guess who's selling the drugs to your uncle and your brother and your nephew? Your son. Your son is selling it. Your son is selling drugs to his own family because he don't give a damn, because money is more important. Because we don't follow the Lord's statutes and commandments, we put other gods, or I use that term lightly, other gods above us, or above what's righteous, the Most High God, the money, the almighty dollar, of course, the power of the PU, you know what that is, sex. We put all that above the Most High God when we don't even realize the Lord allowed all these things to be created. He allowed these things to be created. But we want to follow behind that. And we want to live in the curses. Go ahead.
And overtake thee.
And do what?
Overtake thee.
Right now, there's a brother on the corner begging for change. Another brother on another corner. He's digging in a garbage can. There are homeless in Jersey City, downtown Jersey City, while people walk past them and ignore them. And all they want is some change to grab something to eat. There is all this land. We just traveled through New Jersey, Pennsylvania. We done traveled through Baltimore. We done traveled through DC. We done traveled through Virginia. We done traveled all the way down to North Carolina. And there was so much space and so much land. All I can think about, how is there homeless? How? How do we have homeless right now? How is there blacks, Hispanics, and Native American sleeping in the streets when we have all the resources to take care of them? That's because the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, and we are not to follow behind them. Good?
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
Curse what?
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
We are slaves in the city, driving buses, driving garbage trucks, making barely nothing. We're fighting just to get by. We're paying astronomical rent. It is horrible We live in horrible conditions. Horrible conditions as blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. There are children on the border at this very moment, right now, in cages. In cages. It is disrespectful to our people. Right now, in Jersey City, there are children that's dying simply because of a lack of treatment for the medical treatment. Because the oppressor hates us. And these are our punishments. These are the things. This is the punishment from the Lord thy God. Go ahead.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
You go to work all day enslaved and you still make nothing. You live in the same rat-infested place you lived in 5 years ago and nothing has changed. You still, people done moved out, moved back in. Roaches is everywhere. It's because we're still living in the same conditions due to the fact that we refuse to hearken to the Most High God. We refuse to follow the law, statutes, commandments, and judgments. This is why we're going through the punishment. And this is why we went through the punishment. We're going to continue to keep going through these punishments. Go ahead.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
All the money you make, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're LeBron rich. Guess what? The Lord's still going to touch you. The Lord is going to touch you. It don't matter if you're Michael Jordan, you're Serena Williams. The Lord is still going to touch you. You still have to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. If you don't hearken, the Lord is telling you right here in Deuteronomy chapter 28, all that he's going to do to you. You're going to be cursed if you don't follow. But if you do follow, guess what? You will be blessed in an abundance. You will be above all people of the earth. But we don't want that. We'd rather be peasants. We'd rather run around here and wear Michael Jordan sneakers that's made for 12 cents and get them and pay $200. That's what we'd rather do. We'd rather pay astronomical rent, $1,600, one bedroom. We'd rather do that than be on top. We'd rather walk around here and watch our family die. Watch our children get taken straight to the slaughter. We prepare our children how to sell drugs. We prepare our children how to be whores. Look at the sisters right now raising these children are raising children. You got babies going on TV and twerking because we are destroyed. Because we are cursed. Read.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Now, everything that we read in the beginning of Deuteronomy 27, and everything we read in the beginning of Deuteronomy 28 is basically giving you an understanding of what he will bless, the same thing shall he curse. Your land, your body, everything will be cursed. Look at our people. Look at the state that we're in. Go to Times Square and walk around. Don't get caught up in the lights. Go look at Times Square. Pay attention to it. Go look at downtown Trenton. Go to Washington, D.C., across the street from the goddamn White House. And look, somebody will sell you some fentanyl. Immediately. Go to Chicago. Go to California. It don't matter where you go. We are lost. We are destroyed because we didn't want to follow. Okay?
Cursed shalt thou be. 19. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in.
Drop down to 32. Yeah, drop down to 32.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32.
Go ahead.
Thy sons and thy daughters.
Now who?
Thy sons and thy daughters.
Now I just said it. Your sons and your daughters. The daughters are being whores. Body count 100. How? This is normal. This is normal in the year 2023. Women have a body count of 30 and better. By the time they're 16, it's disgusting. It's disgusting because we're destroyed. You rather go and try and save the person who put your family in slavery. The same person who ancestors raped your ancestors, and now you part of the LGBT community. Your daughter's standing on some street corner being pimped by her own kind. We don't love each other. The Hispanics is separate from the blacks. The blacks is separate from the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans hate the Haitians. The Haitians hate the Dominicans because we're destroyed. Okay?
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Shall be doing what?
Given unto another people.
What? Say it again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
It's beyond just giving to another people. How dare you allow your sons and your daughters to be marrying the same people that enslaved you? Oh, it wasn't them? That's the, oh, we're in a new time. We're in a new era. We're forgiving. They still hate you, black man, Hispanic man, and Native American man. Or it wouldn't be babies in cages at the border. Or when the Levites or the Haitians came across that water, guess what? David gave them food and shelter. They were running from something.
Right.
They were running from poverty and destruction. But instead, you put them back on planes. They put them in planes and in concentration camps. That's what happened. And those who ran free, it was like, run and we'll figure it from there. Because we're cursed. You want to know why blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people go through the things we go through? It's because we don't follow. That's just simple. How can you know who's who? Read your Bible. I'm showing you who's who right here by this one scripture. Go ahead.
And thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all day long.
When you mothers see your sons getting locked up from selling drugs, shooting people, your poor baby, and you long to watch them children not to be free. You long for your daughter not to be a whore. She's in the goddamn drug program, and because she was all high on that fentanyl because of what? You let her go. She was taken by another nation. She was influenced by another nation because she wanted to get down with everybody else and get high. Destroyed. Mm-hmm. That's what we are. We're cursed. Okay?
Come. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
We don't have no army. If you ain't part of UPK, then you have no strength. I done seen other fake groups call themselves being tough and get beat up by shoes. Church women. Church women in shoes. I done seen the so-called Arab man sell dope to his own kind. I thought he was Muslim. I thought it was your brother. I thought you wanted uplifting for your brother. I thought you followed the book that says you don't harm your brother. But if you harming your brother, why are you selling? If you're not harming your brother, why are you selling drugs? It's the brother you call. This is the person you tell him you love him. When you on that man and you banging your head, you tell him you love him, and turn around and sell him dope. I don't want that brotherhood. That's disgusting. It's because we're cursed. It said we'll be sold to another people. We'll be given to another people. You don't think we're not given to another person? Walk outside your house right now and go look. Look out your window. Somebody somewhere, a kid is getting arrested. All but 12. And they're gonna play with him until he get weighed up, or they're gonna release him and keep letting him build up charges, and then they're gonna finish him. Go ahead, Ayash. Where you at?
I was about to read 33. She got something else.
33. Go ahead.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors.
The fruit of thy land. Okay.
And the fruit of thy labor, all thy labors.
Go ahead.
Shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away.
Read that part, that last part of that verse again.
And thou shalt be only
It's like
oppressed.
this, sir. Come on, sir.
You gotta come on here first.
Come.
Get up. Come in this way. Yeah, you just hop up.
Yeah, that'll be better. I don't want to mess the camera up.
That brother, round of applause. What scripture he was in?
Deuteronomy 32 he was finishing.
Go to Isaiah chapter 1, verse 18. The brother was covering about the laws and the statutes that's going to change blacks and Hispanics. There's something fundamental that you can't forget about introducing these laws, statutes, and commandments to black people, and that is having black leadership.
Right.
If you are a black person with zero black leadership, which is all of us outside of the I.S.U.P.K, then you are going to fail at trying to follow the Bible because you have nobody to teach you the Bible.
Right.
You have nobody to tell you what's right. You have nobody telling you what's wrong. You have nobody to sit there and hold you accountable for the things you do right or the things you do wrong, which is what makes being a fake Israelite so disgusting. Because nobody can hold you cats accountable for nothing you do. Nothing you do can be held accountable because you answer to nobody. You don't answer to a soul. All of your leadership is fraudulent. All of your ranking system is a joke. And if you are a freelancing Israelite who Israelites on Facebook or Twitter, then you truly have nobody you look up to except for Verizon when it's time to pay the internet bill.
Right.
Give me Isaiah chapter 1, verse 18. Quickly. No one to look up to, no one to hold you accountable. That is a recipe for failure, especially for a black man who is to be a warrior, and black men are only to be warriors. You want the, what's that term? Black boy joy. Y'all think y'all want black boy joy, and that's what is necessary to build this community. Y'all want better conversations and better dialogue between the men and the women in our community. Y'all think we need to have more museums like Tariq Nasheed. Y'all think we need to have more schools like Dr. Umar Johnson, but what the hell are you teaching those kids in that school if you are walking around with a damn dashiki on? What in the hell are you putting inside the museum / club, which is what he built? What are you putting inside of that goddamn museum other than slave history? I done seen Harriet Tubman all throughout the social studies textbook. I don't gotta see that in the goddamn museum. I done seen her all my entire life. Why she gotta be inside the goddamn museum too? Let me tell you something. Where's Zechariah at? Where's he at? Where's Malachi at?
Right.
Where's Mattathias at? Where's that history at inside the museums? Why is there no figurines of that? Why is there there's no bios of these brothers being put in museums on display? Because that is what actually helps black people. Reading how Mattathias would kill somebody at the altar for disobeying the Lord is much more powerful. And I know y'all gonna hate me for this. It's much more powerful than Rosa Parks sitting in the front of that bus.
Right.
It's much more powerful. She sat in front of that bus at a time when we couldn't, and we all applauded her, and we all applauded like cowards, because like cowards, we wouldn't just walk.
Right.
We wouldn't walk. We had to beg and beg and beg. Please, sir, please let us sit on your bus. You gotta sit in the back. No, we're gonna protest until you let us sit in the front. We're gonna protest until we could drink from your water fountain. We're gonna protest until we can hop in your pool. I don't need a pool. If I gotta hop in the pool with you, I don't need a pool.
That's right.
You understand that? I don't need a pool. What black people need is heroes.
That's right.
That's what you need. You need a superhero. That's why you, as a child, that's why you sitting there watching Superman all goddamn day on CW. I don't know what y'all was watching around the damn globe. But I know over here in New Jersey, when I was a child, you had CW11.
Right.
You had what's the other one? You had Cartoon Network and all that stuff like that. When you watching these damn superheroes, you love the goddamn WWE. You love the WWE because you was watching men fight for the championship of an organization, because you wish your father would fight for the championship of the world, but he doesn't. He clocks into a clock and comes home and tells you one day when you dribble that ball good enough, you get a $40 million contract. and we'll get out of this struggle. And damn the rest of the black people that are going through the same thing. As a black person, you need laws, statutes, and commandments taught to you by heroes, because you have people in the pulpit right now holding this exact book right here who are unable to teach you what's inside because they are not heroes, they are cowards.
Right. Right.
Isaiah 1:18.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 18. Come now, and let us reason together.
Let us what?
Reason together.
Go ahead.
Saith the Lord, though your sins be as scarlet.
Though your sins be as scarlet. What is scarlet? Scarlet is a bright, obvious red. Right. It's not hidden like a burgundy. Like a burgundy. Like if these walls was any type of, you see there's this black right here, and the internet can't see. But brothers in the room, you see this black right here, and there is a burgundy, man, probably mid-burgundy box over here. If you sat it over there, you won't be able to tell exactly what color it is. It's not that noticeable. Oh, that's a burgundy box right there. That's a nice bright burgundy right there. That's a bright version of burgundy. Scarlet, you can notice obviously that it is scarlet.
Right.
This is a scarlet box. This is a scarlet color. Your sin is as scarlet. It's obvious to the world that you are easy game right now, like it says in Judas chapter 5, verse 19. You are easy game to the rest of the world. Somebody pull that. You are easy game to the rest of the world because you have no heroes protecting you. There's no heroes calling the citizens together saying, citizens, we're going to serve God. You understand?
Right.
There's no Superman flying around Metropolis of your ghetto. Your ghetto of Metropolis has no Superman because you're supposed to be Superman. You know, there'd be no comic book if he chose not to fight the villains, right? There'd be no goddamn comic book. There'd be none of that.
Right.
There'd be none of it. It would just be something you've never heard about. Just like the black community being strong is something you've never heard of. That's right. You've never heard of it. Read it. You continue.
Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow.
Judas 5:19 is in the Apocrypha. Good.
Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool.
They shall be as wool. Your sins need to be white. It's going to need to be pure. You should be a pure person. You should be pure, but you're not. Read on.
If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land.
If you be willing and obedient, you would eat the good of the land. You wouldn't worry about, like it says in Deuteronomy, engaging into a wife. You and your wife are engaged. You have talks with her father. You have a purchase price for this woman. You are set to be married, and somebody comes and has sex with that woman, and now she no longer goes to you. Now you have to watch her gallop around with him. You understand that? You in high school. Let me tell you something about a high school sweetheart. Let me tell you, brother, something, man. Let me tell you, brother, something that's so profound. You should have been able to marry that slut you wanted to marry in high school. You should have. You absolutely should have. In a society where she wouldn't have been a whore, and where you would have been able to go to her father and arrange for her to belong to you on a set price that father sets. You should absolutely have that little high school sweetheart that so many brothers go yammering on about until they're 50. You absolutely should have had her. And I understand your desire to sleep with her at the 20-year high school reunion when she looks like nothing. And you still have that deep desire to sleep with her when she looks like nothing because you feel robbed. You felt like you never had her when you should have had her. Well, brother, read on. Read again.
If ye be willing and obedient.
If ye be willing and obedient.
Ye shall eat the good of the land.
Well, brother, you would have had that. You would have it. If we had fathers who were righteous and required righteous women and required it, you'd eat the good of the land. That's right. You'd have a good woman. Right. You would have had that. She would have been a good woman for you to have that good woman. Right. But she was no good. And your brother did not view you as any good. You didn't view yourself as any good because we were all scarlet sinners. It was very obvious we were sinners. It's very obvious that she was going to sleep with so many men. It was so obvious, except to you. Right. Just you. You're the only person that didn't know she was going to do that. That's right. Everybody else knew that. Everybody else. Read on.
But if ye refuse and rebel.
If you refuse and you rebel, the good of the land doesn't just stop there. Like the brother was saying earlier, you would own houses with no property tax. Right. You're not going to keep paying for something you already own. You would put $200,000 on this house, and that's it. Now you have just utilities. Right. Much more manageable. Much more manageable versus a $1,500 bill coming every quarter. Right. For something you've already purchased for $200,000. If you would like to keep the money if you would like to keep the property you bought from me for the price I already discussed with you and we agreed upon, I'm going to need an additional non-contractual $1,500 every 3 months. That's ridiculous. But of course, this is what you have to deal with because you chose not to be righteous. We chose to be sinners, and we looked at white people and said, we looked at the oppressor and said, I want to be that.
Right.
I want to serve him.
Right.
I want to serve his God. They got Christmas on the 25th, and we only got Hanukkah. That's not fair. Right. It's not fair. I want to give gifts to my kid as if you couldn't already.
Right.
I want to give gifts to my kid. You really hated yourself. And the hatred of yourself and the lack of strong black men, because I know you women want to believe somebody cares about your strong independence. Nobody cares. And it doesn't work. So nobody cares, nor does it work. That takes a strong man to be inside that house for any of the garbage flying out of your mouth to work. All that money you think you bring in, all those pretend skills you don't have, but you like to tell the earth you have, for any of that to matter, it has to matter to a man who is in that house tying fire and making use of everything you claim to bring to the table.
Right.
Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And nobody cares. You understand that? Because women are devoid of what? Wisdom. Like it says in the scriptures, you are devoid of wisdom. And if we want to eat the good of the land, you need a black hero to swoop into the ghetto and destroy the enemy and rescue the citizens and bring them to safety. That's right. And that is the men of the I.S.U.P.K.
Right.
And the reason why you are not in safety now is because, like the bastards down in Riley, you dare not follow the priests and prophets of the I.S.U.P.K. Right. Read on.
Okay. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword.
You will be devoured what?
With the sword.
I mean, Tyree Nichols ain't got no justice yet. Ain't got no justice yet. It's an open and closed case. It's open and closed case. There's no justice. Brothers get shot and killed every damn day, and there's no justice. Brothers get murdered. Our brothers get murdered in this society. You say, but this is how you raised me. You told me if I want to be a real man, if I want to be able to be masculine and keep my beard and my braids, I couldn't get the CEO job paying $100,000. No, excuse me, not CEO. I couldn't get the, what is it, blue collar I'm looking for, Dave? Is that the blue collar ones? I couldn't get the blue collar job paying $100,000, $120,000 a year. I couldn't get that. That's what you said because I have a beard, boots, and braids. You said if I look like this, if my suit isn't European type, I can't have $120,000 a year. That's right. That was according to you. So then I took your advice and I said, you know what? I'm not going to work there. I'm just going to sell this crack that they're giving me. Y'all giving me crack. You're saying I can make this money off crack. Let me go ahead and sell this.
Right.
And then you blame me for going to jail. And then you blame me for killing my brother when you told me that's the way that I'm supposed to be a man. Well, black man, that's why you don't go to your enemy for a father.
Right.
Read on.
Come. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. How is the faithful city become an harlot?
How is the faithful city becoming an harlot? How was Jerusalem, blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, that was once looked at as separate, holy, and above all of the races? How are we now looked at as a whore? How are we now looked at? The Wu-Tang Clan just didn't like being black so much. Their name is Wu-Tang Clan. They the Wu-Tang Clan from Shanghai. Right. They called ain't that what they used to call it back in the day? They called it, what's that there? Staten Island? Shaolin. Shaolin. You're from Staten Island. What the hell is Shaolin? Now all of a sudden you're from Shaolin because there's nothing fancy about saying I'm from a black ghetto in Staten Island.
Right.
There's nothing attractive about that. Where are you from? Shaolin. And with the Wu-Tang Clan.
Right.
But when they tell you hurry up and buy, you want to pretend that you're offended. Read on.
Come. It was full of judgment, righteousness, lodged in it, but now murderers.
Full of judgment, say it again.
Full of judgment, righteousness, lodged in it, but now murderers.
1 second. One more time,
How is this faithful city becoming harlot?
How is this faithful city becoming harlot? How? I tell you how. Because black men have to take up their role as leaders of this nation. Take up this role. The conversations that we're supposed to have with black women, we will have. We'll have those conversations, but those conversations have to be on the terms of the Lord. Meaning the man is in charge and you are subservient to the man. You need a definition of subservient, excuse me. You have to be obedient. You have to obey. You have to listen. You have to close your mouth. Why do I say all these things? These are the things that they hate to do. These are things they hate to do. Young man, would you like to become a man, an actual man? Well, guess what you must do when your father tells you to do something you don't feel like doing? You must listen. You must obey. So many young men and so many adulterous, disgusting women have an issue with the word obedience. What am I, a dog? You must obey. The same way Max or Fido obeys the father of that house, you must also obey the man inside that house. I know you don't like it. I know you don't like it because you think it makes you like an animal. But the Lord makes it, he thinks that it makes you look righteous. You look like a people. You look like a nation that is respectable. And that is the only way you're going to eat the good of the land.
Right.
The good of the land ain't going to come from how many people get in the NBA, how many people get in the NFL, how many brothers we get to do to join soccer, baseball. None of that is going to give you the good of the land. Read on. Read on. Come on up.
Sharp. Thy silver is become dross. Thy wine mixed with water.
Dross. I remember the definition. Give me dross up the you can Google it. Some Merriam-Webster something. You continue reading.
Thy wine mixed with water.
Mm-hmm.
The princes are rebellious,
mm-hmm.
and companions of thieves.
Thy wine is mixed with water. Meaning that good old wine that brothers love so damn much is mixed with water. It's not pure wine. It's not even wine. Imagine somebody, and just so y'all can understand, because wine was a bigger delicacy back in the day, because the alcohol content of wine, the alcohol content you look for in tequilas and brandies and things like that. Right. The alcohol concentration in wine was higher prior to today. Right. It wasn't 8 to 12%. It was a little higher. People drunk wine, not drastically higher, but people drunk wine for a nice feeling, to enhance the time, enhance the sensation. And that was something they drank often. And good wine was a delicacy.
Right.
Okay. So to tie it to today, imagine buying a $300 bottle of Johnny Walker and somebody pouring half out and pouring water in it and selling it to you. Right. And say, this is Johnny Walker, you want it? And you drinking it like, why it's not hitting like that? What's this taste, man? Right. It tastes watered down. This is what it's talking about. Read it again.
Khan. Thy silver is become dross.
Definition of dross.
Dross, dirt, dregs,
dirt.
Refuse or impure.
It's impure dirt. Your silver and your gold is impure dirt. The things you sell drugs over is impure dirt, from the jewelry to the women. Right. It's impure dirt that you were risking your life for day in and day out. But you look at us as crazy because we're telling you that it's not worth it. Those women ain't worth a life sentence. The women ain't worth you being dead.
Right.
The jewelry isn't worth either. You done yet?
The scum thrown off from metals and smelting.
Good night. The silver you think you're wearing is really the refuse. Right. It's the stuff that the rest of the people don't want. That's right. So when you see the Saudi prince walking with chains around his neck, and you like, yeah, man, I'm gonna sell drugs to my people so I can accomplish the same thing. And you go get your silver and his silver ain't even the same silver. Right. Ain't even the same goddamn silver. But you're gonna go to jail for your silver.
Right.
And he's sitting in the United Nations with his silver. Right. You understand? You don't have a country to represent in the United Nations. Right. There's a difference in the game that y'all playing. That's right. There's a difference. And if you would like to bridge that gap, read on.
Thy princes are rebellious.
Thy princes are rebellious, and they can't be. Your princes can't be rebellious if you want to bridge that gap between blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, and the rest of the earth. I watched a video the other day where it was an African man criticizing America for calling Putin an international war criminal and wanting him arrested. He said, no, we're going to allow Putin to come here and make his speech, and then we're going to let him leave. Because y'all are hypocrites, and y'all go into countries, and y'all destroy countries, and when y'all leave, the country never recovers. So you don't have the right to call somebody else a war criminal. I'm looking at that like, damn, that's somebody that loves his people. Because he said, damn what the United States said. Right. I don't count him as a criminal because he is just doing what is best for Russia. Right. So I'm going to let him come make his speech, and then I'm going to let him leave. Right. And we're going to escort him so you do nothing to him. And I'm watching this like, well, that is amazing. That's amazing. And then I turn on CNN and I watch our leaders fumble the bag all over the goddamn place. Right. While we're inside of somebody else's country. Right. This is it's atrocious. You have no representation at all, but you think that your silver is worth dying for. Right. Okay. You think that behind walking up and down the block is worth dying for. Right. Mm. And that's I need to tune in Friday because that behind you walking up and down the block, that's walking up and down the block, you selling them drugs for science. Now maybe they'll believe me now, Daniel, because you know what the hell we know. We just a bunch of black people with beards and braids who are angry at the world. And what that woman said, Camp, need to go get a job. Right. That's what she said. She said we need to go get a job. Well, maybe they'll listen to science when science tells them that after 6 partners, the ability for women to pair with men goes down drastically. Mm-hmm. Meaning your ability to be a wife fails after 6 men. And yet I'm the problem? She's a whore. Right. She's a whore. Mm-hmm. So while you're over here killing and drug dealing for a woman who can't be a wife to you, save for an intervention miracle of the I.S.U.P.K. of Christ. I mean, what the hell are you doing? Right. Right. Throwing your life away for a whore. Read on.
Okay. And companions of thieves. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves gifts. Mm-hmm. And followeth after rewards.
Everyone loves gifts and they follow after rewards. Your princes are rebellious. They love free items, and they follow you whenever somebody gives them something, they follow. So what does that mean? That means as long as the United States prints a couple stimulus checks, we're voting. Right. Okay. I'm going to vote because you printed out a $1,200 stimulus, and I just can't see no other reason why I shouldn't vote for you. I can't see it. I just look at all the goddamn comments between this Trump versus Biden war and all this things going on. They say, man, I might hate Trump, but he did print that money, man. He printed that money, and I can't. Oh man, if you know what I'm saying, if he had to get back in office, I'm saying I still wouldn't like him, but we might have some more checks coming. It's atrocious, right? You sell yourself out for $1,200, right? You understand? The property tax in my neighborhood is $1,500. Yeah. You sell it, and I live in the middle of the ghetto. And done, you know. I live in the middle of the goddamn ghetto, and my property, that wouldn't cover my property tax. Right. It's ridiculous. Right.
My gosh. It's so heavy you bring that out, sir, because just last year, they sent statements out like letters letting us know that we have to pay that $1,200 back.
No, not the stimulus. Maybe to you, you got to pay it back.
They were saying certain people was going to have to pay that stimulus money back.
Oh,
during tax season.
Well, people, they found out they was fraudulent. They was lying. Oh, so some people were lying and saying they didn't receive it, and they was trying to claim it on their taxes, and you got double paid and things like that. Right. Yeah, there's stuff like that happening. Okay. But for the most part, that was let me tell you something. They made you pay it back anyway, because right after you got those stimulus checks, the gas went through the goddamn roof. Right. Gas went through the roof, and you thought you was balling. You balling. You had $20 gas, and you ain't had no stimulus check. And they gave you a stimmy. Right. They gave you a little stimmy. And it was $5 a gallon. And you said, wow, well, at least I can afford it. No, you can't. No, you can't. You're the same broke you was yesterday, today. The same broke. Done you?
Good, and inflation went up.
And then inflation went up. Good night. Sure, about a month ago, did you try to buy some eggs? Good night.
Like $13, $14.
Like $18 for a 24-count egg.
22. So
I'm sure it was higher in some other places. You understand? They're going to get their money. So when the princes are rebellious over a free gift, you're really just selling your people out. Because never in the history of the earth has someone enriched their enemy.
Right.
Never. The problem is you don't look at this country as your enemy.
Right.
Because you say, I'm a Black American.
That's right.
I'm African American. Okay. This ain't my enemy. Sure, we get treated a little bad here compared to other people, but this ain't my enemy. Read on.
Con. They judge not the fatherless, neither doeth the cause of the widow come unto them.
They judge not the fatherless. There's so many fatherless young boys out here who don't want to get into the streets, but they have no money. They have no goddamn money. And let me tell you something too. When you are 14 years old and your mother is looking at you with the big teary eyes about how she can't pay bills, for a lot of young Black men, I can't speak for white men, I can't speak for Asian men, I can't speak for Indian men.
Right.
I can speak for Black men. As a young 14-year-old Black kid, when your mother's sitting up there looking at you, not able to buy you anything, barely able to keep the bills paid.
Right.
You get laughed at in school for what you don't have.
Right.
It's very easy to go sell drugs. It's
Right.
extremely easy. This
Right.
is what are you talking about? Sell drugs? Sell drugs or go to school and be a laughing stock until the end of high school. No, thank you.
Right.
No, thank you. I'll take the shortened lifespan with extra money for $400.
Right.
Read on.
Con. Therefore, saith the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of mine adversaries, and avenge me of mine enemies.
And avenge me of mine enemies. I'm going to ease me of my adversaries and avenge me of my enemies, because surely my people shall not suffer like this for long. The Lord is only waiting on us, Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians.
Right.
The Lord is saying they're waiting and waiting and waiting for the day that Black people get tired of being on the bottom.
Right.
And that's for you brothers and sisters who turn atheists. That's for you brothers and sisters who say, if the Lord didn't want this, well, why is he allowing this? The Lord is not doing anything to you.
Right.
You're doing it to yourself, and like a good father, he's bringing the punishment.
That's right.
That's it. You complain about a father being a father because you didn't have a father. So you don't understand the punishment of God because you didn't have that punishment from your fleshly father.
Right.
Where if your father tore your behind up for getting C's and D's and F's in school, if your father tore your behind up for considering to run outside with hooligans, you would understand the punishments of the Lord and how it benefits the son or the daughter in the long run. You would understand when your father beats you for thinking you're going to be a fast tail with some boy from your school. You would understand why the Lord seeks an even greater punishment.
Right.
But because you had no dad, you don't understand. That's fine, because the I.S.U.P.K is going to cause you to understand. Going to cause you to understand because, like I said earlier, we are the superheroes who's going to bring you back to the Lord. We're the superheroes who are going to crack the Bible open and show you exactly what you are missing and what you don't understand.
Right.
Why must I get beat? Why must I be disciplined? And then we're going to show you. You don't have to accept it. But whether you accept it or not, the beating is coming down the pipeline.
Right.
So you can either get with it, meaning you can obey God and get off of punishment, or you can die and be punished like anyone else who disobeys the Lord.
That's right.
And that's a true superhero. That's a true superhero. That's the difference between the I.S.U.P.K and Superman. Superman gonna save you and save you and save you and save you and save you. The Lord is, he's gonna let you burn that fire a little bit.
That's right.
He gonna look at you just a little bit. Superman come, he whisk you out the way at light speed and bring you to safety. The Lord is just gonna look at you for a little while. He's gonna make sure that you understand that hurts.
Right.
You understand? Understand that this hurts. Your father didn't get it, which is how he died early, which is how he ended up in jail.
Right.
So I'll leave you in the fire a little bit longer than I left your father, and I'll see if you understand. Your father had a 12-year sentence. I'll give you 20. Your father died at 24. If you don't get it together by 29, you're going to die.
That's right.
Read on.
Khan. And I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away the dross and take away all
my hand on you, and I will turn away the refuse. All that refuse that you have on you, I will remove it from you. Go ahead.
And take away all thine tin.
All the tin, tin is a very cheap, non-resistant metal. A tin can that a bum might have, a hobo, or somebody pandering. It's not expensive. All right. Good.
Khan. And I will restore thy judges as at the first.
And I will restore thy judges as at the first. Meaning, I'm going to take that tin can that you're panhandling with on the corner of the highway. I'm going to take that from you, and I'm going to restore your judges.
Right.
There'll be someone here to tell you you are correct. There'll be someone here to tell you you are wrong, and this is why this happened to you, but no sweat. Here's what you do. The judges of Israel will be restored. Go ahead.
And thy counselors as at the beginning.
And thy counselors as at the beginning. If you read in Exodus, Moses, he appointed counselors, officers of 50, 500, 1,000, 5,000, captains, to divvy up the work and to help Israel move accordingly and obey the Lord.
Right.
And just like that at the beginning, will all the nation of Israel be again. The Lord will restore the counselors that we once had, and you won't rely on your Christian pastors.
That's right.
Your Christian pastors will be outliers. There'll be people, there'll be outsiders. There'll be people you look at and you go, you know he's wrong.
Right.
When someone tries to tell you Jesus was white, when somebody tries to tell you you don't have to serve God, you don't have to follow the law. Pork is okay. I just saw something earlier. Somebody said there's 5 things you're gonna go to hell in, and one of them was if you eat too much pork. I said, what the hell is too much pork?
Right.
What the hell is too much? So tell me how much pork I can eat so that I could stop right before I'm supposed to,
Right.
and still make it to the quote unquote pearly gates. Please
Right.
tell me where the hell I'm supposed to stop pork at. That is the words of a weak man.
Right.
That's the words of a man that says, no, how about this? How about if I eat over 100 pounds of pork in my life, I can't go. How about that?
Right.
I'll stop at 99.
Right.
That's a weak man. That's the words of a weak man. When a strong man says, no matter how much pork he has or hasn't eaten in his life, a strong man finds out you have to stop eating pork or the Lord is going to kill you. The strong man says, I'm going to stop eating pork. I'm going to stop smoking weed. I'm going to stop dealing with white women. That's what a strong man does. Because a strong man sees the necessity in stopping immediately, and he knows what a father does.
Right.
He knows what a father does. A father doesn't say, yeah, you can gangbang till you're 28 and then I'll whoop you. The father doesn't do that. The father finds you with those hooligans and tears you up in front of the hooligans.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Khan. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment.
Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, meaning your enemies won't get away with it either. But if you want retribution to fall on your oppressors of all races, if you want the redemption to fall down from the Lord, then you must get yourself right. Black man, this is not the Black Panther Party. You cannot raise up arms against your oppressors. You must change yourself and change your community. And the Lord will look down on that change that you instilled, how you became a superhero. And the Lord will say, surely this people are ready. Go ahead.
Khan. And her converts with righteousness.
And her converts with righteousness. Go ahead.
And the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together.
And the destruction of the transgressors and the sinners shall be together. Where you at?
Verse 28, sir.
Yeah, read that.
And they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed.
And they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed. Give me 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. Go ahead. Give me Judas 5 and 19 real quick while you're doing this.
1 Corinthians.
Kashak, you got Judas 5 and 19 in the Apocrypha? 1 Corinthians 5, 15, excuse me. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. Somebody give me Judith 5 and 19. It's in your Apocrypha. I could turn it to them. Come on, y'all got these damn
The
smartphones.
book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 19. But now are they returned to their God.
But now are they what?
Return to their God.
Read a verse above.
Come, sir.
I think it started at 17. That's why. Good. Read 18.
Sir. But when they departed from the way, which he had appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore.
For time's sake, 17 starts to describe how the Ammonite went into the king of, I believe, the Persians at this time. And he went unto him and he goes, surely, like, I'm going to tell you how to beat the Israelites. This is how you beat the Israelites. If they are serving their God, we shouldn't mess with them because their God is going to destroy us in battle.
Right.
However, if we could get them to smoke a little cigarette, a little weed, sell a little crack,
Right.
exchange wives, which is sleeping with another man's wife. All these women y'all think y'all sticking and moving with, you putting your rod and something alone in something else.
Right.
You understand? You think y'all sticking and moving and y'all being disgusting.
Right.
So all that, if we could just get them to believe that whoredom is acceptable, get them to believe that the Olympic Games, the NBA, the NFL is the key to their salvation. If we could corrupt them even a little, they could keep talking that pro-black, keep talking that black power. They could have little groups like the Black Panthers, and they could do all that. They could join the Republican Party. They could have faith in the Democratic Party. We could have all that. We could let them do all of that, but just don't let them actually serve God. If we corrupt them a little bit, we will destroy them. And they knew this back when Judith was writing. You understand?
Right.
This is not a new concept. We think, yeah, man, it's all a big conspiracy. While they've been conspiring against you, like it says in Psalms 83, ever since you've been a nation.
Right.
You understand that? Ever since Isaac died and Esau looked at Jacob and said, after mourning for my father, I will kill him.
Right.
There's been a conspiring amongst the nations against you since then. And that is Genesis.
Right.
The 25th, 26th. It's Genesis. Now, people have been planning on killing the blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians since you came on earth. That's why black people run around talking about something the most hated, but I still shine, and all you brothers be in the world talking about something everybody hates you. They do hate you.
Right.
Just not in the way that you think. They hate you because you're driving a Cadillac. Nobody hates you for driving a Cadillac.
That's right.
Your own people might hate you a little bit because you're driving a Cadillac, but the real hatred ain't for that Cadillac.
That's
that hatred is for what's flowing through your veins that can never be changed.
Right.
Esau wanted to kill you first, and he conspired with the rest of the nations. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Building the Africans rounded you up. Was it the Indians that built the boats? The East Indies, not East Indians. It was
the
Arabs that built the boats.
Brother,
it was a big conspiracy to get you on them goddamn boats out.
Right.
You was in Africa. You ran from Jerusalem into Africa, and was so good at traveling the land. The white men had to go to the Africans and say, "Look, man, we can't catch them.
Right.
We can't catch them. We need them. We can't catch them. We don't want y'all." And that's how you know you're not African. That's how you know. If y'all was African, they would have just took the Africans.
Right.
It's the same people.
Right.
Same people. You're going to do the same work that these guys are going to do from over here. They went to the Africans and said, we know they're not you.
Right.
Right.
But y'all know this land just as good as them. Please go round them up.
Right.
So we can take them out on the ships that the Arabs built.
Right.
You understand? On a route that the Spaniards mapped.
Right.
And all that conspiring together. The nations hate you. And they've always hated you since the beginning of time. And if you want your retribution, the only retribution you're going to get is from the Lord by following his laws, statutes, and commandments. And they knew this since the time of Judith, and they knew this since the time of Esau.
Right.
Right. Drop that. What you have? 15 and 45?
Come on.
Yeah.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 45.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul.
Mm-hmm. The first man, Adam, was made a living soul. We're going to get into the breakdown. Go ahead.
The last Adam was made of quickening spirit.
The last Adam was made of quickening spirit. What does that mean? Kashat.
Sorry, sir.
Read it again. Read from the top. Let's see if Kashat can get this.
And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made of quickening spirit.
The first Adam was made a living soul.
Right.
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Give me the definition of quickening. This ties right into the topic. This ties right into how black people need superheroes. You need heroes to save you from your oppressor. You need it. And black man, you ain't wrong for feeling like every black man feel like they the man. You know why? Because you're supposed to be the man. You're supposed to be the man. You ain't wrong for feeling like that, but you are wrong for feeling like that when you do not do what the man is supposed to do according to the Lord. You won't be the man on earth. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Go ahead. Be the man. And be the man when the Lord ordains it. Do the things that the Lord says to do to be considered the man, to be considered a priest, a hero amongst his people. Give me quickening.
It's the definition of quicken. Come to life.
Mm-hmm.
Receive life.
Receive life. Come to life. Receive life. So, the first Adam was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. A spirit made to
bring forth life.
So what is this talking about?
Christ saving us, the house shop on Shia saving us.
And how do you know that?
Because he's died for his people.
In the context of that verse, how do you know that?
The verse. Read just the last part.
You're right. And I want you to have the understanding of how you're right.
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
A very valuable skill when you're going to crush people in the corners and you're going to crush your cousins who dare challenge you. And you're going to crush Christian pastors who want debates inside of their mega churches and people who want debates over Skype and Zoom. A big skill you're going to have to learn is just what's right in front of you. You don't have to leave the scripture.
Right.
You don't have to leave this verse.
That's right.
It was made a quickening spirit.
Done. You want to give it a try?
You read it again, Book of
Colonel Cons. Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 45. And so it is written, the first Adam was made a living soul.
Mm-hmm.
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
The first Adam was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. So it's talking about Christ. I said you were right. And how do you know that? Because he came to save us, absolutely. But what else about this scripture allows you to know that that's Christ? Let me get a young man a chat real quick.
Adam was given the law. That's what gave him the life, the breath of life.
It made him and that's what made him a
man.
In the scripture, that's what made him a
living soul.
That's what made him a living soul. And then the last Adam,
the quickening spirit. The spirit is the vibe. Basically the personality.
Yaraj.
So like, sir, if I could, this is Christ. This is like a spiritual thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christ was pretty much quickening spirit. He was made. This was a spiritual birth, like a spiritual creation.
Yeah, the first one was he was given the laws. The second one, he was given the power to save everyone else. He made a quickening spirit, a spirit that was able to save everyone else. But that's what Kashak said as well. But how would you know this is Christ? If it says the last Adam, how would you know this is Christ?
It's like, sir, because Christ is
Christ is Adam. The first Adam was made a living soul. He was given the laws. Right. The last Adam is able to give you life.
That's right.
Oh, okay. And that's how you know this is talking about Christ, because Christ is the only person in this Bible that can give you life.
Right.
Okay. You understand?
I got it, sir.
No sweat. Now, how does that tie into being a hero? Christ is the only person that can give you life.
That's right.
He's the only person. You look to a hero to save you from your deadly situation. My situation is deadly.
That's right.
It is a deadly situation. We're gonna go watch, make sure where that is.
That's awesome. Quad, sir.
Okay, no sir. You help him. Don't you give him some help. Yeah, I need to share your bag. This one right here. Yeah, y'all get down fast and around. The sun has set. Y'all want to get down with some unleavened bread? It is what it is. Would you like to do so? After, I'll do that. I don't want to be sure while I'm teaching.
Come on.
All right, honey in the kitchen.
I'll bring you.
You know what I'm saying? How you know this is talking about heroes, like I said, because Christ has the ability to give life. And that is what a hero is supposed to do inside this community, man. And that's why you can't bring nobody, the conscious community, the Hotep community, Christianity, Islam. You can't bring atheism. You can't bring politics, whether it's the left or the right side. You can't bring politics to help black people. The only thing that helps the people as destroyed as this people is a super damn hero. It's a superhero. And this superhero has the ability to give you life. To give you life, and that's how you know this is what helps black people. Because y'all in that church so goddamn long, not even knowing you're reading about the physical and all that cartoon y'all love watching. You're reading the literal account of a superhero.
Right.
You're reading it. When they made Superman, and they made what's the name? Magneto and Professor X and all that.
Right.
When they made superheroes, they was looking at black people's problems. Right. And the creator, the white man who made not Malcolm X, Professor X did it off of Malcolm X, and Magneto was, I think it was it opposite?
Vice versa.
Vice versa, yeah. The X confused me.
Con.
Professor X was MLK.
Right.
Magneto was Malcolm X.
Right.
You understand? Magneto was Malcolm X. He did that. I think his name was Stan Lee.
That's right.
That's his name, Stan Lee. And he made those goddamn comics out. He made those comics. He said, I made that off of the civil rights movement that was happening around MLK and Malcolm X. Because the white man looked at those two as superheroes when those two don't even compare to the men of the I.S.U.P.K.
Right.
And when a white man seen a man holding a Quran, he seen a black man holding a Quran and another one who was a damn sellout. Another one who wanted to hop in the pool with white people.
Right.
When he seen those two and how they was able to galvanize a crowd, he said, oh, this has to be a superhero.
Right.
I've never seen nothing like this. Your innate ability to be a superhero, you carried it over to Islam.
Right.
Farrakhan he's on the world, other than in the actual Middle Eastern countries, do you know the world looks at Farrakhan, or used to look at Farrakhan as a leader of Islam?
Right.
You mentioned Islam, at least in the Northern America, you think Farrakhan.
Right.
If you don't live in the Middle East or are heavily tied in the Middle East, you don't think of Middle Eastern leaders.
Right.
You think Farrakhan.
Right.
You done took your innate ability to be a superhero and dragged it over to be a whore inside of Islam and to be a whore inside of the Black Panther Party. What's the cat name? What's the brother name? World famous in the Black Panther Party that got killed. No. The young cat.
Newton.
Fred Hampton. And Huey Newton. So it's just to galvanize a crowd and captivate the people and mobilize men. So you think a superhero is I gotta fly around and I gotta shoot laser beams out my eyes. We live in the real world where if you're able to mobilize a man against his enemy, even your enemy looks at you like this nigga's a superhero.
Right.
Good God, we must get rid of him. And he wasn't even righteous, huh?
Right.
They wasn't even righteous. They wasn't serving the Bible. They wasn't serving God. They couldn't tell you Jesus was black and the Israelites was blacks, Hispanics, and natives. They couldn't tell you none of that. Right. And your enemy still looked at them and said, this is a damn superhero.
That's right.
Get rid of him.
Right.
How much more do you think they want to get rid of you, but you have divine protection of the Lord?
That's right.
How much you think, man, come on, good night, man. You need superheroes inside the black community, and the superheroes are in front of you in the I.S.U.P.K. And we flooded the state of North Carolina, and we flooded the city of Raleigh over this past week. And we showed the world what it looks like when a bunch of superheroes converge on a spot. And we took the damn spot over. We had rabbis crying tears to local news stations about, I just can't believe we allowed them to come here. We must do something about this. But you don't do anything about circumcising your sons with your mouth. You do nothing about that, but you dare open your mouth against the superheroes of the Lord.
Right.
You dare. That's right. Brother, we went down in Raleigh and we showed out and we showed black people what it's like to have superheroes. And when you hit those corners on Saturdays, you were showing the black people in your city, in your zone, what it looks like to look at a superhero. That's right. What it feels like to hear a superhero's voice. That's right. You turn that goddamn microphone up, and when it rocks those airwaves out, it ain't regular rocking. It's not regular rocking the airwaves. It ain't regular. You understand? It ain't regular rocking of the airwaves. You ever stand in that camp and that damn speaker is blaring, and every damn cell in your body is just vibrating. That's right. It's vibrating out, and the people that are standing in front of you are looking in awe. How dare they come out here and say Jesus Christ is black? Right. How the hell could you come out here and do that? Didn't you see what they did to Fred Hampton? That's right. Don't you see what they did to Huey Newton? Don't you see what they did to Malcolm X? Don't you see what they did to Martin Luther King? Don't you see these things? How could you still come out here decades later and believe that you could help black people? Because we're the real ones. That's right. We're the real superheroes. We might not never have a cartoon or a comic book made about us, but that's because they know when the real superheroes come on, it's not a game. It's not a book. That's right. You understand? That's right. It's not a goddamn book when the real ones touch down. All right. Where you at? In the scriptures, where you at?
We wrapped up
1545. Drop that. Give me 1 Timothy 5:8. You Christians, I mean, we should be going from the Old Testament to the New Testament, just so you can know Christ indeed was a goddamn superhero. He indeed was a superhero, and in the Old Testament, we're showing you because it all makes sense. The Lord always wanted black men to be superheroes, and you women, let me tell you women something. You're getting on my damn nerves. I'm watching these damn podcasts all over the damn internet, and you're pissing me off. You women are running around here, running your mouth, daring to fix your lips to say you wouldn't get with a superhero because that superhero can have more than one of you. I would dare challenge you to find your innate ability that you bring to the table that is as valuable as saving the race that you come from. That man in that goddamn house has the ability to save your entire race, and you would get on the internet and fix your damn lips to say, I wouldn't get with a black man. Black men, y'all be cheating. Black men cheat. He got to be only about me unless he provided me money. It's a put your hand down. It's a disgusting thing going on in this goddamn earth. Right. Y'all are sitting on these goddamn podcasts. That's right. Running your mouth, degrading black men like we ain't put up with enough of y'all. We done put up with enough from black women out here. We done put up enough from them that you ain't got to sit there and listen to these broads run their mouth on no goddamn podcast when every Tom, Dick, and Harry has been inside of you. It makes no goddamn sense that you think you have the ability to get on a internet platform and say the things you do. But these are the reasons why you'll never have a superhero. These are the reasons why you'll be a 3-child single mother. These are the reasons, because superheroes don't play by the rules of women. Superheroes obey the laws of the Most High God and keep it pushing. Right. You understand that? God. That is how men move of the Most High. This is not the Hotep movement. This is not the conscious community. And you would do well to stay in line. You would do well to stay in line when talking on black men who have become the superheroes that those men have wished to become. You would do well when speaking on them to have some manners, to be polite, and to step carefully. You would have very well brains about you to do that. But of course, you women have none. You have none because you're following the steps of your mother. So of course you have none. But it's okay because the day is here when several women will do what, Ayash? Will do what?
Say that one more time, sir.
What am I paraphrasing? The day is here when what, Kashat? 7 women will do what?
Take hold of one man.
They take hold on one man. Nobody is looking for you and your 3 children, sister. Nobody. And if a superhero dares take on your 3 children, I would think that you would watch your mouth. Right. I would think that you would be quiet on the goddamn internet. That's what I think would be wise for you to do. Read on.
It's the book of, make sure I got this right. It's the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5, verse 8.
Mm-hmm. You know what the problem is, Oxlade? They hear superhero and they want to be Lois Lane.
Right.
They want to be Lois Lane.
Right.
They want to be Lois Lane and have Superman all caught up in the goddamn tissy over Lois Lane. You know how many times this cat done had a brick fall on his head trying to save that woman? Good night. And then you're dealing with a real life superhero, and he telling you, look, man, you walk into that building that's falling, I ain't coming in there. And you lose your damn mind saying, black men ain't no real men. A real man would have walked in that building and got hit in the head with that brick for me. Read on.
Colonel Collins, book of 1 Timothy, chapter 8, verse 5.
I'll leave you. I'll leave you. If there's bricks falling on your head in the building I told you not to walk into, I'm going to leave you in that building.
That's right.
You're going to be in that building by your damn self. Read on.
Colonel Collins, book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5, verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he have denied the faith.
You've denied the faith, and this is like when I pull this scripture, women just lose their goddamn mind. See, I kid you not, I heard this scripture on a podcast 2 days ago when I was driving down to Raleigh. Not 2 days ago. So this is what, Saturday morning, 3-4 days ago, 5 days ago. Time just be flying because the white man's about to die. So time just be flying past so quick.
Right.
The last days is just getting that, it just escalated and sped up. So like, when I was driving down to Raleigh Saturday morning, I'm listening to this podcast, and this broad pulled this scripture and said, see, if a man don't take care of his household, he is worse than an infidel. He is worse than an infidel. And I sat there listening, and I go, man. So if I don't give you all my money, the children I gave you, the protection I gave you, me strangling the intruder at 3 a.m, don't none of that matter because I didn't give you my damn money. I didn't give you 90% of my check. Don't none of that matter. That is ridiculous. Kashakawa.
Because you ain't let her go to Target.
Because I ain't let her go to Target
and spend your money.
And swipe the credit card. And swipe the goddamn credit card out. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. If you want a superhero, you know, he can't do it all. A superhero is busy being super in so many goddamn ways, sister. It might do you well to go make him some money. It might benefit the both of y'all if you got your behind up and made him some money because that superhero is being so goddamn super. He's being so goddamn excellent and everything else. And he's focused on the work of the Lord, and he's focused on cleaning up the crackheads and the gangbangers and the drug dealers and the people and the strippers on the pole and the women in the church and the brothers in the mosque. He's so focused on cleaning up his entire community. You married a superhero. I mean, you got to play your part. The least you could do for his super self is bring home $1.
That's right.
That's the least you could do. What you supposed to sit at home? Sit at home and scroll Instagram. Is that it?
Right.
Sit at home and scroll Instagram and look pretty. And then you're going to also question why he has 7 of you.
Right.
Because all you do is sit at home and scroll Instagram.
Right.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Drop that. Give me Psalm 68. 68 and 5.
Psalm 68 and 5.
Yeah, Psalm 68 and 5. Come on, 68.
The book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 5.
There you go.
A father of the fatherless.
What?
A father of the fatherless.
That's not, sister, I need to break this to you too. We're not covering the stepdad.
Right.
This is not talking about the stepdad. And here's another picture that be floating around the internet that I can't get out of my goddamn head. With that brother bent over on them damn knees, with them 3 children on that truck,
right,
and that damn shirt on his back that say, I'm not the stepdad, I'm the dad that stepped up. You disloyal son of a...
Right. Right. Right.
Brother, you so goddamn happy.
Right.
You so damn happy to take another man's wife and children. When you talk to her, I bet you didn't even ask her, does your baby father want you anymore? Right. Does he want you? Because if he wants you, you know, I'm not I'm not getting with you.
Right.
But you wanted to be the father that stepped up so goddamn bad that you betrayed your brother.
Right.
You brothers are willing to betray the next black man for a piece of vagina, and that is disgusting.
Right.
That is disgusting, and that is unbecoming of a superhero.
Right.
That is unbecoming. Read that again.
Colonel Khan. Book of Psalms.
68.
Chapter 68, verse 5.
Let's go.
A father of the
A
fatherless.
father of the fatherless. You can see these young brothers running around here who might have fleshly fathers. They might have a fleshly father, and guess what? With that fleshly father, you can keep your fleshly father. He might be in jail. He might have passed on. He might be dead. You can be a spiritual father to these young brothers.
That's right.
You can be a spiritual father to brothers. You have brothers who are grown men who have other spiritual fathers who are grown men.
That's right.
Right.
Because this isn't about fathering children or being a stepdad. This is about a young man who needs guidance into becoming an adult, into becoming a real man. You understand that?
That's right.
That is what this scripture is talking about. It's not talking about somebody coming up and fathering your bastards. I'm sorry, Salakia. It's not. You women need to learn how to keep the man that you crack your legs open to. You need to learn that. And it sounds terrible, I know. You can't have more than one partner, and you're crying and you're boo-hooing. And then on that same podcast, they start laughing because she said she was a single mother and nobody wants her. And she started crying, looking for sympathy after being so happy that she was a whore. She was so happy that she was a whore. And then she said, it's like nobody wants a single mother. You're right. Nobody wants a single mother, because what that shows is you could not keep the man you cracked your legs open to.
Right.
That's what that shows. That's what that shows. That is, there's salvation for you single mothers as well. There it is. Ready for it? You can be quiet.
Right.
You can come sit in an I.S.U.P.K classroom and be quiet and cover your head. And it would behoove you to put tape on your mouth, but I can't, that's not in our protocol. Be quiet.
That's right.
Stop yapping and just be quiet. And perhaps, just maybe, if you are of childbearing age and you are a virtuous woman who can offer a brother some skill, just maybe a superhero will see fit to give you a chance. Just maybe. But sitting on these goddamn podcasts and running your mouth about how the superheroes of the earth don't want you is not it. It ain't cutting it, and it's not going to get it done. Read on out. You got to pay attention. Come on.
Colonel Khan.
That's right.
And a judge of the widows.
And a judge of the widows.
Right.
Oh, you a widow? Yes, my husband died in the war. Oh, sister, that is a terrible thing. That's a terrible thing. My advice to you is just continue. Mourn over your husband. Let the mourning out. And focus on raising those children. And perhaps in the future, after a while has passed, and you think that you are ready to remarry, then we can visit that.
That's right.
Okay.
Not Raheem gets shot in the goddamn street. Elijah gets shot in the street. And 2 weeks later, you are on Facebook video getting your back blown out by somebody else.
Khan.
Elijah ain't been dead 2 full weeks.
Right.
It's been 12 days, not even 14 days, and you are on Facebook video getting embarrassing him. If he could roll in his grave, he would. Embarrassing him like, what woman did I choose that she don't even mourn over me? Read on.
Is God in his holy habitation.
Read down on the line again.
A father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows.
Father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows. Go ahead.
Is God in his holy habitation.
Is God in his holy habitation. And if you are a widow, the young upcoming superheroes can come cut your grass for you.
Right.
The young upcoming superheroes can come take the trash out for you when it's too heavy. Right. Come remove the leaves out your gutter. You say you hear something at night, the superheroes can come and check your surroundings. Right. The widows still get protected in a nation ran by the superheroes. But when you want superheroes, you have to obey their rules.
Right.
And that's what women don't understand. if you want to be protected in this earth, and I know you don't think you need protection because you grew up in America and you think nothing's ever going to happen to you.
That's right.
The rest of the world knows reality, and the rest of the world knows what can happen in earth. You can get mugged at night. You can get sexually assaulted walking alone at night. The time is going to come where you are going to ask your husband to escort you to work.
Right.
It's going to come.
Right.
Right.
Where you are going to live in an area that is so stricken by poverty. It's already happening.
Right.
It's been happening.
Right.
It's been happening. When you're walking to work, you go back in the house and you go, can you give me a ride?
Right. Come.
If that superhero don't deserve you to be quiet, cook, and clean, and be obedient, why the hell he got to drive you to work then? It don't make no goddamn sense. I mean, he got to get something out the damn deal. Y'all think that little funky vagina is everything that he need out the damn deal, and it ain't. It ain't. And that's the conversation. The conversation that black women think that black men need to have with them is really a conversation of how well can you be quiet so black men can become what the Lord would like them to become. That is the conversation that y'all don't want to have.
That's
Go ahead.
So, like I said, if I could, you know, our communities are so poverty stricken that sisters have to carry mace, a gun, and a knife in North Linden, Orange, all right, Jersey City, just to protect themselves from other men.
Absolutely.
It's horrible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a terrible goddamn thing. It's so damn terrible when you realize the type of world you live in. See, when you are a sinner, you go to the club, you shake your behind, you're half naked, you just living your life.
Right.
And then when a superhero tells you the realities of Earth before it happens to you, or when you have to realize on your own when something happens to you, and you realize, oh, I can die out here.
Right.
I can get robbed.
Right.
These things can happen. There's a video on YouTube of a sister recording an Indian man following her to her car. She went inside this Walmart, came out. She seen him like following her in, and then she kind of lost him in the Walmart.
Right.
She comes out of the Walmart with no bags or whatever, just comes out, and he's trailing behind her. And when she gets back to her car, there's a tissue in her door. Now, of course, when you get to your door and you're not a trained soldier, you don't even look at the handle.
Right.
You just, get in your car.
Right.
She would have touched that damn thing. How much you want to bet it's chloroform or something similar on that goddamn tissue?
Yep.
Something to put her right to sleep when she opened that goddamn door, and she wake up in a goddamn sex ring in Turkey somewhere.
Right.
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 And I here go though. Now, how many black men you think that sister done been through?
Right.
But then you're gonna make a YouTube video saying, "Yeah, you sisters, stay careful. They try and get us out here." Well, nobody would get you,
Right.
if you obeyed the man who was trying to be a superhero.
Right.
But you didn't want to obey him. You thought you had well enough on your own, and you deserved sexual liberation.
There you go.
You think you deserve sexual liberation, and for your sexual liberation that you wanted and you got, you lost a superhero. But no sweat, sis. No sweat. Anything is possible with Christ. You can come into the truth and change your life and be one of 7.
That's right.
And you'll accept it. You'll accept it because you want the protection of a superhero.
That's right.
Because there's no one like us that's not a Fred Hampton, there's not a Huey Newton, there's no one like a man raised under Commander Giuliani.
That's right.
There's not a soul like him. And you'll realize that. You'll realize it when you look down on your handle and you see the tissue on your handle.
Right.
And I hope you catch it before you touch it. I really do.
Right.
I hope you catch it before you touch it. And when you see that tissue, or when that black, I ain't even got to go into the YouTube video. Last night on Ferry Street and Brill Street in Dunya, a car pulled up on a woman with 3 men in it and tried to kidnap her.
Yikes. Wow. Ferry Street.
Why was you walking at 1 in the morning on Ferry Street?
Yeah.
You didn't have a superhero telling you, get in the house before the street lights go out, like you tell your child. Because you know what her response would have been? Why are you talking to me like I am a child? So you know what? Go outside and get an adult. Go ahead. Go get an adult.
Right.
Because see, when that 3-man car pulls up on a superhero, that superhero will handle himself.
Right.
Right.
Gone.
When that three-man car pulls up on you,
That's it.
you better hope you grab the pepper spray fast enough.
Gone.
And I know transgenderism and all this stuff done confused y'all and made y'all not understand what I'm saying. A man can be a woman can be a man. And then reality sets in when you find tissue on your door.
Right.
Oh, I can never be a man. I can never defend myself against an attacker the way a man can.
Right.
Never. And when the world gets reset to these primitive stages, and when things fail you, when your pepper spray jams, when your Glock jams, when you drop your pocketbook because you're too afraid, and these primitive things set back in, and you need your man,
right?
Then you'll think back on the 17 men you slept with, and you'll wish you kept one of them.
Right.
So you can listen today to the I.S.U.P.K, and you can shut your mouth, close your legs, get in the classroom, and pray a superhero picks you to protect you.
Right.
That's right.
Me, Psalms 10 and 17. Let me see. So this one, you gotta pay attention now. You gotta move a little faster. All right, you gotta move a little faster.
Good. Book of Psalms, chapter 10, verse 17. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble.
Lord, I have heard the desire. Israel, do you know that I am pleading with you right now and pleading with the Lord not to kill us and harm us, even those of us who believe we want to be outside, and you women that believe you want to have a hot girl summer. And here you go. Here you go, Daniel. Here you go. The leader of your hot girl summer has rebranded herself. She's rebranded herself and took all the makeup off, and she's looking all natural, and she got her natural hair out. She's rebranding herself. After getting Tory Lanez locked up in jail, the leader of the hot girl summer is rebranding herself. The other leader, what's her name, Black China, is rebranding herself. She took the fillers out of her cheekbones and out of her jawbones and took the implants out of her chest and out her butt. And she is rebranding herself and saying she's going by her original name, Angela White. And she is talking about something, she's getting closer to Jesus Christ.
Right.
After she done got put on video, blowing ride, and convincing you women that it's cool to be a whore, she's rebranding into a born-again Christian.
Right.
Which is why you women rebrand into born-again Christians, except the Lord doesn't respect it. Right. The Lord does not respect your born-again status. He doesn't. Right. He doesn't respect, he doesn't look at it as anything serious. Read it again.
The book of Psalms, chapter 10, verse 17. Mm-hmm. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble.
Thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Lord, I desire you to destroy my enemies. I desire revenge, Lord, and I know you said it's yours. So I will serve you. Lord, I desire my people to get off of crack cocaine, off the stripper poles, out the streets, out the church and mosque, and inside of an I.S.U.P.K classroom. I desire that, Lord. And the Lord will honor our desires so long as we serve him.
Right.
Even you sinners, we are out here desiring our young sons not to get killed. You were desiring your daughter as much as a whore that you were. I'm talking to the 56-year-old, 50 or 60-year-old woman right now. You know very well you desire your daughter to get married. You can pretend to the earth on podcasts and Facebook clips and YouTube clips and pretend lie to the man who you have in your bed right now that you're happy with how your life turned out. But I know you wish, ever since you was 21, you had one stable man and gave birth to one man's children.
Right.
And I know you desire that for your daughter. Here's your chance. Here's your chance to lead by example. You elder women, you brothers who say, yeah, man, I now feel the effects of the streets. I now feel it. Having no friends my age, because they're all dead. They all died when we were younger. Having no friends my age, I now understand what I sacrificed in the streets. My son grown up to be in the streets because I didn't teach him nothing. Right. I now understand that. Okay. I now understand. Having old women who are whores as well, who can't bond with you anymore, because according to science, He had more than 6 men.
Right.
So now you 50 years old and you done decided, you know what? I'm gonna get into waste management. I ain't gonna do no drugs. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be a good stand-up citizen.
Right.
I'm gonna find me a nice little 40-some-year-old, 42-year-old woman. I'm gonna settle down finally. And when you finally do that, she done had 34 partners and she can't settle with you. You realize where you messed up at. You should have locked in a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times over.
Right.
So that when you 50, she only been with you.
Right.
Locked in with you. Knows your desires, knows your favorite foods, knows how you like your back rub. Instead, you are arguing with a 56-year-old woman with 34 bodies and limited cooking abilities.
Right.
And now you realize, damn, I probably should have been a superhero. Well, here's your chance, brother.
Right.
Here's your chance. Come inside the I.S.U.P.K classroom and become the superhero that you never did.
Right.
Read that next verse.
We're still right here.
Good.
Thou wilt prepare thy heart.
Uh-huh.
Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear.
Mm-hmm.
To judge the fatherless and the oppressed,
Mm-hmm.
that the man of the earth may no more oppress.
That the man of the earth may no more oppress. It takes you, black man, if you want to stop your oppressor who is sitting in that White House, who has perpetually sat in that White House since the first president, who has perpetually sat on top of Rome, perpetually sat on top of Babylon. And why am I bringing up these societies? Because they ran you out of, Rome ran you out of Jerusalem in 70 AD. You had to leave Babylon for a disgusting sin back when Babylon was prevalent. All of these things are true, and you have to now save your people in today's time. The man of the earth cannot be allowed to oppress any longer.
Okay.
But you're going to have to do extraordinary things, brother. Extraordinary, out of this worth things. And I don't know if you're ready for it, but here you go. You're going to have to put the blunt down.
Right.
You're going to have to stop smoking. You're going to have to stop co-signing whores. Stop sleeping with whores. If she won't stop being a whore, let her die sexless.
Right.
You understand that?
Right.
If you find out she's 3, 4, 5, 6 men, don't add on to it. That's another disgusting thing that I've come across watching these goddamn podcasts.
Right.
Like, these podcasts are enlightening me.
God.
Enlightening me. I'm finding so much of these podcasts, bro.
God.
They're sitting there saying, y'all gonna be whores anyway, so I might as well. Now, of course, this is something I knew already in the hood. In the
Right.
But it's just profound seeing people talk about this openly on the internet. Like it's not nasty.
Right.
Like this isn't disgusting. They're gonna do it anyway, so I might as well. They're gonna be whores anyway, so you might as well be another body. Well, how about if you said no to her, and he said no to her, and he said no to her, and everybody else said no to her? Who is she being a whore with? Nobody. She'll be known as a woman who lacks discipline and loyalty. She has loyalty issues. She's not fit for a husband. And no superhero out of Israel will ever sleep with her. And if she chooses to go and date some disgusting Indian man, then you let her.
Right.
And you let her, you kick her out of the nation. You don't allow her back.
That's right.
You don't allow her back. You let her stay over there. You understand? Drop that. Give me my last scripture. Give me Deuteronomy 27. Deuteronomy 27 and 19. Okay. Let me help you out.
27 and 19. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 19. Cursed be he that prevail. Hold on, let me make sure I got that.
Pervert.
Cursed be he that perverteth the judgment of the stranger.
Cursed be he that perverteth the judgment of the stranger. Cursed be he that perverteth the judgment of the stranger. If you pervert judgment in general, you are to be cursed. If you are over here subverting the judgment that is righteously supposed to be passed down, you are to be cursed.
Right.
If you are not telling the fatherless what you should tell them, you are to be cursed. Meaning you brothers who are out here 23, 24, 25, and you teaching these 16, 17, 18-year-old boys, they should grab them Glocks and go shoot for you, you should be cursed.
Right.
Because you are not telling the fatherless what you should tell them. If you out here saying, well, she gonna be a whore anyway, so you should be cursed for perpetuating her being a whore, for participating in whoredom. You should be cursed. If you are perverting the judgment in Israel, you are stopping righteousness from flowing through the veins. You are stopping the oppressor from getting what he has coming to him. You have to be cursed and exiled out of this nation. You have to. It's a necessity. It is a necessity. Right. You understand? Go ahead.
Slide, if I may. What this scripture basically is saying is, if we're not doing the work of the Lord, then we shall be cursed.
Yes, if you are perverting the judgment. If there's what did I read earlier? You shall judge the fatherless, and ye shall judge the widows. So now it's saying, if you pervert the judgment of the fatherless, meaning there's something you should tell fatherless young men to be their spiritual father and guide them, because their fleshly father has failed them. There's something you tell whores or women who are on the verge of being whores. There's something you tell them to help them in their life, because their mothers are failures. You can't be a priest and not pass down a righteous judgment. And these brothers out here telling young brothers to grab Glocks and shoot. Right. Telling these sisters, it's your body, your choice. Right. Sexual liberation and freedom. You get into politics if you want. Go vote. When you only person you should vote for is Christ, and he was already elected.
Right.
Right. You understand that? He's already chosen by the Lord. If you do those things, if you are perverting judgment, you're passing down the wrong judgment to the people who need it most. You should be cursed.
I think I got what you're saying. Basically, if I'm teaching them about smoking weed and popping pills and selling drugs and all the things the old man used to do, if I'm teaching them that instead of teaching
if you're teaching them anything that is contrary to what the Lord wants them to do,
come.
If you are teaching young children who are fatherless, teenagers who are fatherless, widows who are husbandless, if you are teaching them, if you're teaching an alcoholic how not to get back with alcohol, but you're telling him, man, alcohol, it ruin your liver, man. Just switch over to weed, man. Weed better anyway. If you are teaching them that,
right,
anything contrary to the Lord, because you are a priest passed down judgment.
Right.
No knockdown, ye shall judge the world.
Okay.
Ye shall pass down judgment. So how the hell are you going to pass down incorrect judgment? Somebody got to stop you. You got to be cursed. That's why your pastors are so disgusting. Right. Somebody got to stop them. They got to be stopped. That's disgusting, and somebody has to stop them.
Right.
Which is why we exist. Questions? Did I send anybody that I don't think none of y'all have the security announcements. Give me 1 second. Probably have it. Okay, no, that's not it. You remind me to send the security announcements over so Shamar can have it come on a weekly basis. That means we're gonna give one courtesy salute. Man, if Israelite Majim. Israelite Majim Shabbat. And Majim. Barak.
Yahweh Shem Shah Rakatham.
Majim Matah. Dismissed.